Did you not see that when your creative force turned to the world, how the dead things moved under it and through it, how they grew and prospered, and how your thoughts flowed in rich rivers? If your creative force now turns to the place of the soul, you will see how your soul becomes green and how its field bears wonderful fruit. The year was 1913. The intellectual conflict with Sigmund Freud had reached its breaking point, and Carl Jung, once Freud's closest collaborator, found himself in a state of profound psychological confusion. Stripped of the theoretical framework that had oriented him, Jung began experiencing what he feared might be the onset of madness. Apocalyptic visions that haunted him even during his daily activities. He saw Europe drowning in a sea of blood, a terrifying premonition that would manifest as the Great War the following year. On December 12th, facing a stark choice between pathologizing his experience or courageously confronting it, Jung made what he called the decisive step. Sitting at his desk, he deliberately chose to let himself drop, describing the sensation as if the ground literally gave way beneath my feet and I plunged into the dark depths. This voluntary descent was an act of profound courage, the beginning of what would become his most revolutionary contribution to psychology: active imagination. At its essence, active imagination is a method for consciously building a bridge to the unconscious between the sunlit, ordered world of the ego and the vast, twilight wilderness, the realm of the unconscious, composed of forgotten memories, primal instincts, and the ancient archetypal figures that dream our world into being. The practice is not about conquering that wilderness, but about walking the bridge with respect, seeking to enter into a dialogue with the forces that shape our very soul. For instance, if you're struggling with a difficult decision, you might imagine sitting down with a wise figure from your dreams. This figure might offer insights that your conscious mind couldn't access, helping you see the situation from a new perspective. This conscious participation, the active engagement between your conscious mind and unconscious figures, creates a dialogue that can reveal hidden aspects of your psyche. The ego's role in active imagination presents a fascinating paradox. Active imagination requires the ego to be simultaneously an impartial observer, watching the inner drama unfold, an active participant entering the scene with authentic reactions, and a restraining force that prevents the conscious mind from controlling the narrative. This dual awareness is the most challenging skill to master. Imagine you are in a dialogue with an anger figure. The controlling ego wants to rationalize, "You're just a part of me. I shouldn't be angry." The observing ego allows the anger to be felt authentically while holding the awareness. I am feeling immense anger now, and I am in a dialogue with the part of my psyche that embodies it. I will not be consumed by it, but I will not dismiss it either. This capacity to hold attention, to feel fully while knowing it is a psychic reality, is the key to a genuine dialogue. The unconscious does not speak in the logical, linear language of the day world. It speaks in the primordial tongue of images. The word for these images is symbol. From the Greek symbalin, meaning to throw together, a symbol joins the known and the unknown, the conscious and the unconscious. A symbol is alive. It is a vessel pregnant with a meaning that can never be fully exhausted, a living bridge to the psychic depths. The most potent symbols are expressions of the archetypes. Archetypes are the universal, inherited patterns of the human spirit, the instincts of the imagination. They are the deep structures of the soul, which appear across all cultures and ages in myth, art, and dream. Some symbols in your life are personal, arising from a specific memory or place. Archetypal symbols are different. They carry a numinous quality, a sense of the sacred. They feel both strangely new and deeply familiar, as if known for all time. They often appear with features recognized by all of humanity. The wise old man with his staff, the great mother, the hero, the shadow. In a journey to the inner world, you will meet these patterns as living figures. To encounter an archetype is to meet a presence that feels autonomous, independent of your will. The experience brings a sense of awe. The figure may speak with an authority that transcends your own knowledge, for each is a face of the self, appearing when its specific wisdom is needed for the journey toward wholeness. Often, the first to greet you at the threshold is your shadow, the parts of yourself you have disowned. Acknowledging it without judgment is the first test of courage. Deeper in, you may encounter the anima or animus, your inner feminine or masculine, who acts as a soul guide to challenge your one-sided conscious attitude. This figure may lead you to the wise old man or woman who offers the guidance your ego lacks, or force a confrontation with the trickster whose chaotic energy is needed to break down rigid structures. Each figure is a face of the self, appearing when its energy is needed for the journey toward wholeness. When Jung encountered Philemon, the wise old man with bull's horns and kingfisher wings, he was meeting a personification of this timeless wisdom, the living form of an archetype. It is crucial to understand that active imagination is not a machine for extracting answers from the psyche. The modern mind, obsessed with efficiency, wants a quick fix. The unconscious does not yield its wisdom to those in a hurry. The true goal is to move from a state of inner alienation, where the ego is a lonely tyrant in its own house, to a state of relationship. It is about learning to listen to, respect, and even argue with the other inhabitants of your soul. This process is rarely comfortable. It requires the courage to sit with confusion, to endure the presence of terrifying figures, and to accept insights that may shatter your most cherished self-images. The prize is something far more valuable: wholeness. The process begins with what Marie-Louise von Franz, Jung's student, described as emptying the mad mind. This is about quieting the ceaseless, anxious chatter of the ego. The first stage is preparation, creating the right conditions for the unconscious to speak. This involves finding a quiet, comfortable space, setting a timer for 20 to 30 minutes, and taking several deep breaths to center yourself. The key is to create a receptive state where the unconscious can emerge. Then, when you're ready, You initiate by choosing a starting point. It can be a significant dream image, an emotion of the day, or a fantasy. Close your eyes and visualize your starting point, allowing it to expand, to become more vivid and detailed. The goal is to let the unconscious take the lead while maintaining conscious awareness. Now you engage. This is the heart of the work, to enter into a living dialogue with the figures that arise from the quiet. You offer a question. What have you come to tell me? Then you listen. You wait for a response that is not of your own making. Here lies the central discipline of the art, to hold a dual awareness. You must be both the actor in the drama and the audience watching it unfold. You are fully engaged in the scene, responding with real emotion. Yet a part of you remains the quiet witness, aware that you are on an inner stage. When a terrifying figure appears, a great wolf perhaps, the first response is fear. The temptation is to step away, to intellectualize that it is just a part of me. The work is to remain in the scene, to feel the truth of the fear, and from that place of authentic feeling, to ask, I see you. I am afraid. What is your nature? Why have you come? The conscious mind may rebel. A voice may insist, this is foolish, or I am making all of this up. This resistance is simply another figure asking to be heard. One turns to it with the same gentle curiosity. I hear your doubt. What do you fear might happen if we continue? There are moments when the boundary between observer and participant may dissolve. When you feel yourself becoming the figure, losing the anchor of your own perspective. In that moment, the discipline is to gently pull back, to create space with a simple internal statement. I am the one experiencing this. I am not this. Should the fear or any emotion become a flood, threatening to carry you away, the anchor is always the present moment. Open your eyes. Feel the solid chair beneath you, the ground under your feet. Breathe. Remind yourself, with quiet authority, that this is an inner world and you are its conscious witness. You can always return. You can practice active imagination with the Mirror app. Mirror will guide you step by step, allow you to interact with inner figures using AI, and help you spot patterns across all of your active imaginations. The inner work now seeks its form in the outer world. An insight from the depths must be given a home in the world, anchored in a physical form to become a source of lasting transformation. In the integration step, you turn to the task of giving the inner experience a concrete form. The purpose is to create a tangible object for your conscious reflection, a faithful rendering of the encounter. This can take many forms, each suited to your soul's language. You might write down the dialogue, capturing the words and the feeling that moved through them. Your hand may be moved to sketch the figure or the scene, letting the inner vision find its shape on paper. Some find the body itself must speak, and they move or dance the emotion that arose. You might be called to create a lasting object, sculpting a form from clay or wood. This work is best undertaken soon after the experience, while your memory is vivid and the energy of the encounter is still present. Through this creative expression, the ephemeral experience becomes an enduring object, a testament to the meeting and a permanent touchstone for your path ahead. The images of the unconscious place a great responsibility upon a man. Failure to understand them, or a shirking of ethical responsibility, deprives him of his wholeness and imposes a painful fragmentariness on his life. This is the stage where the inner work becomes a way of life. The insight from your dialogue translates into a concrete ethical demand. An encounter with a neglected inner child places upon you the responsibility to carve out real time for play and self-compassion. The appearance of an inner warrior might demand that you finally stand up for yourself, no longer accepting what you know to be wrong. The wise elder may insist that you share your knowledge, recognizing that wisdom hoarded is wisdom lost. Your task is to act in the outer world on behalf of this inner truth. This ethical work continues beyond the initial session. You must revisit these insights regularly, paying attention to how this inner work begins to affect your outer life. The dialogue itself continues in the quiet moments of the day, as a living relationship with the figures of your soul. This path presents its own challenges. You may find yourself with many insights at once. When this happens, process them gradually, focusing on one at a time before moving to the next. Sometimes the insights will challenge your life so profoundly that your foundations feel shaken. The way forward is through small, sustainable changes. Begin with one small action that honors the inner figure, building from there. Most challenging is the tendency to fall back into old patterns. When this happens, and it will, be patient with yourself. Living this truth is a process. The work is to reconnect with the inner figure and recommit to the ethical demand, understanding that each return deepens the relationship and strengthens your soul. Active imagination is a lifelong practice. It is the cultivation of a relationship with the figures who dwell in the psychic depths. This relationship places a profound responsibility on the individual. Each insight gained, each dialogue held, presents an ethical demand to live the truth that has been revealed. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Active imagination is the means to bring that direction into awareness, to transform fate into choice. If you want to start applying what you've learned in this video, to take the dive and begin understanding your dreams, the Mirror app is for you. It offers a system based on Jungian methods to guide you in interpreting your dreams and is made for anyone ready to begin exploring their unconscious. Don't wait. Start today by following the link in the top right corner and begin your journey of self-discovery.